Highclere has inspired so many women in so many ways. From the Countesses of Carnarvon, the likes of Almina, married to the 5th Earl, and after her Lady Catherine, to current Countess of Carnarvon, Viking ship godmother, great dog mother of Finse here. She was Finse's original human mummy. And very dear friend Fiona, who does so much for so many. In addition to running the world's most famous estate. The Highclere estate is one on which there are a number of other inspiring women of different backgrounds, like Pat, the longest serving, I believe, over half a century in service to the same family, painting every nook and cranny, every ceiling and window frame in the castle here behind me. Pat is iconic here at Highclere. And my friend Gwyn is as well. She steadfastly supported her husband Don, the head gardener at Highclere, for also about 50 years until he recently passed away. Gwyn is to so many Viking guests known as the Butterfly Lady. Many of you met her on board the naming of the Viking Venus last year. She's inspiring in many ways. One of them is her knowledge and passion of nature around her. And I'd like to call out inspiring women who've been watching Viking.TV for over 100 weeks now. There are so many of you, and as much as you kindly thank us for enriching your times spent at home during the pandemic, we would like to thank you for being such engaged, positive members of our virtual community. Mika, I believe, has watched every single live stream, and we can always depend on her to pose an interesting question or an anecdote from her own well-travelled life. Or Barbara, who over this period became my pen pal, and to whom I send secret signals. Finse and I send secret signals during our weekly introductions. You and so many more have been so inspiring to us during these past couple of years, and I would like to take this opportunity to personally thank all of you for your inspirations.
I'm sitting in the drawing room here at Highclere, and in many ways this room pays tribute to an inspirational woman, one of my predecessors, Lady Almina Carnarvon, married to the 5th Earl. And she was inspirational because of what she did during World War I. I wrote about it in my very first historical book, and it was rather wonderful to write about a woman, not the Earl, but the woman, Almina. She turned Highclere into a proper working hospital with an operating theatre, and the focus of her life was saving the lives of other women's husbands, brothers and sons. There are 400 or 500 letters in the archives, all of which testify to the difference she made and for what she tried to do for other people. There can be no greater contribution. Her successor, Lady Catherine, was also in many ways inspirational. She went through the First World War and obviously the Second World War, and she had to survive and cope with such tragedy. I wrote about her and was sitting where she sat, sometimes in floods of tears, as I tried to imagine and write about what her life must have been. And in terms of my own world here, I think I'm inspired above all by my mother and my sisters, those who are close to me and with whom I go through many of the challenges and journey of life. And I guess I've got 2 little inspiring dogs here with me, both of whom are girls, and both of whom make me go out and enjoy every single day while I can.
On my visits to Highclere Castle, I've made friends with many of their loyal, personable staff. One of my favourites is Pat Withers, whose career began when the Carnarvons approached her family with a question.
Would we consider coming to paint the exterior of the castle? I'd never ever seen the castle. So we came up, we took one look, and our father said, "Got to be joking." But we took on the job and we started painting on the castle. And that was in 1960. In them days, you did anything. You just didn't do painting and decorating because you wanted work. I've cleaned windows, dug post holes, swept chimneys, put up fences, you name it, I think I've done it. My father unfortunately died in '64, and I was called into the office, and Mr. Stubbing said, as long as ever you won't work, as long as we work here for you. His lordship had said so. Everywhere that needs a door painting, it is Pat's Doors. Every single house door, all in the courtyard, on the big garage doors. It's a blue-grey colour. Lady Carnarvon calls it blue, I call it grey. Unfortunately, the manufacturer, in their wisdom, decided to change the colour. We couldn't find another one, so one was mixed. I said, now how about that one? Lady Carnarvon said, that's absolutely brilliant. What do you call it? I said, it's Pat's Doors. And ever since that day, it's called Pat's Doors. What I love about Highclere is the warmth and the love of the place. It'll always be with me. It's absolutely fantastic. With this present Lady Carnarvon, you can't do anything else but feel that.
Highclere Castle, the real Downton Abbey, is one of the most beautiful places I know. Its meticulously manicured grounds were long tended by head gardener Don Dorset, who lived on the property with his wife and my good friend Gwyn. A curious soul by nature, Gwyn has come to know this expansive estate perhaps better than anyone else over the years.
This is your world.
It is my world. Highclere has been my world for 50 years.
Many people would envy you for that.
I know they would.
Imagine having nearly 5,000 acres to explore, all just beyond your back door.
For those that haven't been to Highclere before, how would you describe sort of the nature and the fields?
It's so beautiful. The landscape here is rolling. It's up and down. Nothing stays level unless you level it.
Gwyn recognised early that she was blessed with both time and opportunity, and she's long taken full advantage of both.
You do many walks a day?
3 or 4 times sometimes. I did a 5-mile walk the other day.
And do you ever get bored with the landscape?
Never.
While the broad landscapes shift with light and the seasons, one of the most surprising elements is the abundance of wildlife on the Highclere estate.
There's deer in the morning down in the fields. There's foxes, quite a lot of foxes. They are pheasants around, yes. There's white owl, sometimes you might be seeing on the fence post.
Lots of horses.
9 horses. And they've had 2 foals last year. Yeah, 2 lovely foals. Hello, pigs.
Oh my God, they're so big.
Aren't they beautiful? We have now got a pair of white Gloucesters who's had piglets. And they're really very quite cute and smart, and they actually grunt and talk when you talk to them.
Do they? And most importantly, the current Lord Carnarvon's
Dogs. Yeah. They've got 7 or 8 dogs now, and they let them run in the fields. They play very good.
There used to be more livestock on the estate.
It was cattle, and I used to help with them. I used to feed the calves, go and take them into the fields and bring them back out again. And I delivered one. Yeah, that was some going. That was really good, really.
But there are no cattle here today.
No, it's only sheep.
Lots of sheep.
Yeah, 3,000 or more.
You've served how many earls?
3. Well, I haven't worked for him, but Don did.
Yeah, Don did. Yeah. When you came here, it was the current Lord Carnarvon's
grandfather.
Yeah.
He was a very interesting lord. He was a nice old man. He used to go and interfere with Don in the garden. He loved secateurs.
Yeah.
He used to go around and trim.
He helped him out, did he? The Lord helped Don out?
Yeah. He had a walking stick and he walked with one arm behind the back and whopping the dandelion heads off as he went along. get rid of them dandelions he was going.
Over the years, Gwyn has had little interest in venturing beyond the expansive Highclere estate, even after her husband Don passed away, preferring instead to immerse herself in nature and creating art. In fact, many people know her as the Butterfly Lady. Surprisingly, her interest in travel spiked when I showed her the itinerary for Viking's longest ever world cruise. Since Gwyn didn't have a passport, she asked to have 2 of her butterflies sail on board, so they could see the world for her and be photographed at various ports of call. I'm not sure if my mention of the world cruise was the trigger, but recently Gwyn's curiosity finally got the best of her, and she changed her life in the blink of an eye.
I woke up on Friday morning, just sat up. I said, I'm going, I'm off. So I packed my bags, got a train on Tuesday and went to Exeter. Beautiful ride. And I looked round Exeter and I thought, oh, that's not bad.
But one new city was not enough, and Gwyn caught another train.
Went from Exeter the same day down to Plymouth.
Okay.
And I looked all around and nice and I thought, I better find somewhere to stay.
And you thought a good place to sleep might be?
The park bench.
And you thought that was safe enough?
If somebody wants to knock me off and that's my way, it's knocked off.
But then someone came to your rescue, right, and said you don't really sleep on a park bench these days. But you ended up in a hotel room or in a pub?
Yes, a hotel room. Bed and breakfast and evening meal.
With no planning but a desire to discover, Gwyn kept on going and going.
Then I booked into Elmouth, up north, 2 separate places, and I'm waiting now to go again.
I seized the moment and we were off.
We went into London together a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was your
First.
first?
Proper London.
Yeah.
Proper London.
Yeah, first time in proper London. And on your way in, you made some remarks.
It was too close and scary.
Was it?
Yeah, too much. The amount of traffic on the road, it was just there, pressing in, too near.
A bit different from here.
Good grief. Looks just like cagework. They're in a cage. Jeepers creepers. It's just mind-boggling. Take me back.
Back where?
Home to Highclere. I'm not used to seeing people looking like they're caged in when I've got so much freedom here.
Once in the city, we began our delightful weekend of firsts.
It's a beautiful buildings, really, clean.
It was great fun seeing London through fresh eyes.
Oh, this is the first time I've stepped on London streets in my life.
With those first steps, Gwyn's spirits were high as we entered Cadogan Hall, where a classical music concert filled this intimate setting with energy and enthusiasm throughout the evening. Conducted by noted composer and another friend, Debbie Wiseman, the performance was sponsored by Viking and was being filmed to be shown later on board Viking ships. Despite spending many of her days in solitude at Highclere, Gwyn was anything but a wallflower and enthusiastically joined in. I had another experience to share here, and of course, Gwyn was game for anything.
What I'm in?
Yeah.
Cadogan.
You're in Cadogan Hall and you're backstage.
Backstage.
You were backstage.
It was a chance for Gwyn to experience true privileged access.
You're on stage now.
Gwyn's curiosity immediately bubbled to the surface and brought with it an unending list of fascinating questions. Then, it was time for yet another first.
I'm now on Sloane Square having my first Irish coffee. There's me whiskers.
And of course, we couldn't forget Gwyn's handmade butterflies.
Rose and George have had a wonderful evening at the concert at Sloane Square.
Before closing the day, we took in a bit of the city by night. And in particular, drove by one icon that's a must for anyone who visits London.
I am now at Harrods for the first time in my life. I'm looking out the window, admiring it. Beautiful frocks in the front, too expensive for me to even look at. They wouldn't last long cutting a hedge in Highclere. I should never forget this outing I'm on.
Why?
It's the first time I've done an outing like this with friends. Back or the front?
We have to go in the back.
Can we go to Fulham Front, please?
To the Fulham Road.
A new day was upon us, and Gwyn was ready for her first steps into Harrods.
I can't believe it.
This is a place where the word opulent feels inadequate.
It's amazing.
Remember to get off, get off.
We are now in Harrods with my friend Katrina.
Or perhaps Karina as well?
And my friend Karina.
After a quick look around, it was time to get to work. You see, we had another concert in the evening and wanted Gwyn to look her very best. The search was on for just the right look.
Happy colours.
Perhaps, but no.
Couldn't walk down the streets of Highclere with one of these.
Couldn't cut the hedge with that.
On second thought,
No, that's too wicked. That was too wicked.
Are you enjoying your gossip magazine?
Finished. I'm now in the saloon with Katrina.
Or Karina, perhaps.
Or Karina, perhaps.
Go on.
Going to have my hair cut and shaped
By Vlad.
by Vlad.
Oh, Vlad. How about your lipstick? Your
The lipstick and powder and paint as well.
this trip brought many surprises. But I think my favourite was Gwyn's first ever lipstick.
have to put it on. Whoops. There it is. What's the name of the lipstick?
Rouge, Cocoa Flash.
And on the top it says, live.
I can't put lipstick on.
Go on then.
Few can match Gwyn's delightful spirit.
You have to move it up from the bottom a little bit.
Everything is a new adventure, and she embraces each one.
Go on.
Turning everyday experiences for many of us into memories that will warm my heart for years.
I love that colour.
Beautiful.
Just a few more steps in Gwyn's transformation. With a cut here and a snip there, Vlad stepped in to work his magic and deliver a masterpiece.
Wow. Wow. Vlad. Is that Gwen or Gwyn?
Finally, the evening was upon us, and we set off for one of London's most beloved locations, the Royal Albert Hall. This impressive venue has hosted some of the city's most prestigious events, and it was the perfect spot to end Gwyn's very first outing in London. I hope she'll long treasure it as much as I will. Where's Gwyn headed next? It's difficult to predict, In fact, after hearing Gwyn's story, a high-ranking member of the House of Lords invited her for tea at the house. And Gwyn's not stopping there. At age 78, she has her first passport. In the meantime, Gwyn continues to enjoy life amid the sublime beauty of the Highclere Castle estate.